Oh,
Chaplin in New Shoes.
no. It's actually one of my own tunes. It's called Palmy's Bounce. So I've just been practicing it because I'm in the process of
Recording.
putting together the recording of it. So the story, Palmy was my mom's nickname, and because she was a cheerleader when she was in high school, so Pom Pom Girl became Palmy.
That's awesome.
So, and I didn't know that whole story when she was. I just knew that all her friends called her Pommy, and I didn't really understand it until many years later. But then, I guess it was 2019, somewhere around there. She got sick. She had Alzheimer's, and she came to live with us. Um, and short version of the story is I ended up writing the tune. The original version of it was kind of more, um, more, I guess, almost ragtime, New Orleans jazz, kind of more like. So that was the original version of it, because it was just it was the kind of music that she liked to spend time listening to. So then, you know, as the tune kind of plays itself in, if you've written any, one of the things I find is that, I'll write a tune, I'll get it to a certain point, and then I'll play around with it, and over a period, the right way to play it seems to sort of evolve.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened with that. So instead of, it became. You know what I mean? So like it became less swingy and a little bit more straight, slightly more New Orleans second line, maybe almost.
That's why I didn't recognize the tune, because I've heard that tune years before, but I think I've heard it on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
First variation upon it.
Yeah, there's a
I
few.
love what you just said, that the tunes evolve as you're writing, and like almost in this weird ethereal way guide you to the way they should be played.
Well, that's part of it is that you write the tune and then you begin having a conversation with the tune.
Oh, I like that.
The tune, if you listen, the tune will eventually tell you what it wants. And for me, that's always been like the most difficult part of the process. I can't tell you how many times I would think to myself, okay, I got an idea for a tune, and then I would throw a million things into it because I wanted it to be good enough. It needs this, it needs this, it needs this, it needs this, and then after playing around with it for a while, it's clear that I only need maybe 30% of what I actually wrote.
You can't put it all in.
And then I end up like taking away 70% of what I put in.
Yeah.
And then sort of
And
replace that.
that's hard to do, to pick which bits of it are your favorite and whatnot.
Yeah.
You're reminding me, John, of something I read in an interview with Keith Richards a long time ago, where I've heard the same sort of sentiment echoed from multiple songwriters, guitar players, where they asked him about like writing the song, whatever Rolling Stone song it was, and he goes, "I didn't write that. I'm just the antenna. I have the radio is just on in my head all the time. I'm tuned into a different frequency, and my job is to transcribe it."
The song already exists.
Yes. Yeah, it's like that. It's
an
like that.
entity.
Yeah, it's like that famous quote from from Michelangelo, who was quoted as saying that when I get the piece of marble, the statue is already in there. All I have to do is take away everything that's not the statue.
Yep.
Oh,
And those quotes don't make sense or didn't make sense to me at least, till the
Yeah.
first time that I'm just sitting there watching TV, playing guitar, and all of a sudden something just happens.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
didn't write that riff that I liked or whatever; it just happened, and I went, "Ooh, I gotta get that down before I forget it."
Yeah.
And I run. Thank God for the iPhone. I have about 600 riffs on my iPhone
Me too.
that if I did not have the iPhone, I would be like scrambling for a tape recorder or a piece of paper or whatever because it's there and then it's gone like 2 minutes later.
Remember those little voice recorders that people used? You'd
I
have
think I
a
still have one kicking
tiny
around somewhere.
cassette tape.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to keep a cheap cassette recorder around for that purpose. So
Record and
I had
play.
yeah, exactly. So I had a box full of cassette tapes and scrawled
Is that in the
music
room next
notation.
door?
Yeah,
You
yes,
probably have
it's
some
in there.
cassettes
Yeah,
in there. That'd be fun to listen to some of those. Huh?
yeah.
I think I still have notebooks from college that just have like where I was scribbling out in notation as fast as I possibly could before I forgot it.
Yeah,
Weird how things just appear sometimes.
yeah. So on my first, in fact, in my first album, there's a song on there called "Film at 11," and the reason why it's called "Film at 11" was because the end result kind of reminded me of what it might sound like if you played newsroom music as a rock band. You know, like what would happen if you took like an 11 o'clock news show, took all the music that you would normally hear in that, and but play it like a rock band.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the way that the tune actually got written was I had started the band originally just as a series of jam sessions, like every Tuesday night. You know, my friends and I would get together and we would just play just for the sake of playing. And part of it was because I had been gigging for years and I was just sick of it. And I was in a process where I was trying to rediscover, you know, like why I love to play music in the first place, right? So so every Tuesday night it's like, okay, let's jam, let's jam. And so the first couple of jams we did it. And one of the things that happened was we kind of quickly ran out of steam unless we had something to play. So what I started doing was I started writing tunes only for the purpose of just having something for us to mess around with when we get the next time we got together.
Just a fun little
You know,
jam.
yeah, so just a fun
You're
little,
good at
yeah, let's
those.
try this. Let's go C9 to E flat 9, you know, and just throw some ideas around and then we'd kind of play around with it. And after a few weeks of this, it started to become a thing, and that we were having a lot of fun with it because we were starting to sound pretty good. And about half of the tunes that I was writing were vocal tunes, and the other half were instrumental tunes. And then, oh, by the way, the vocal tunes were good, but lyrically, you know, like one of them was like, "I love you, baby. I love you so much. I want to be with you. I miss you when you're not here. So I wrote this song about you." You know, like just about as shallow as you could possibly get.
You don't have deep lyrics, John?
Not really, you know. It's, you know, I would like try to be like kind of poetic and be like, "My love for you is like a hurricane." Wow, you
I
know.
used to in college. I used to write down like all these lyrics, and I'm like, that's so. I'm like all 21. That's so profound. That's so cool. And now at 40, I look back and go, oh,
Right,
that.
right. So, but what would happen
Yeah.
is we would get together and we would play the vocal tunes and it'd be fine. But then when we played the instrumental tunes, they were always more fun, and everybody enjoyed playing them much more. So anyway, so one week, Tuesday comes up. It's Monday night, and I've got nothing. I've got no new tunes, nothing for ideas. So I went into that box of ideas that I was telling you that I kept. You know, took out a bunch of cassettes and kind of said, okay, all right, I don't know, I've got nothing. So but I don't want to show up with nothing. So okay, so this cassette has the A section. This cassette here has the B section. This cassette here has the C section, and this little notation over here has the D section, which is the solo section. And you know, then once we play through those, then I'm just going to play through them again, but in reverse order this time. And then, you know, now so when I showed it to the people in the band,
Yeah.
their reaction was, "Oh, cool." You know, like they didn't even, and I wasn't. I was just thinking, I hope they're not mad at me because I really don't have anything. You know,
It turned
but
into a little tune.
and it turned into a tune that ended up on the album. And but a big part of it was because they didn't realize that one section had absolutely nothing to do with the other section. Different keys, different tempos, different feels, by the way. Um, you know, they were just kind of looking for clever ways to stitch them together, and they found a bunch of different solutions. And it was really cool watching them put it together. So I, you know, what it left me with was just this philosophy of try everything and try anything, and then
Oh,
just
I like that.
as you do that, like really pay attention to what you like.
Yep.
So, all right, I've talked a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we get on a riff.
Yeah.
What's everybody up to? And did anybody play over the stuff we sent over last time? Did anyone make a recording or?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
You
you
did?
did?
Oh, nice. Okay.
Do you want to share, April? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, sure.
Too.
Yeah, hey guys. Let me just find it. I put it on YouTube.
Oh, you put it on YouTube. All right. I think I have given everyone the opportunity to share.
Example?
Yep, there.
So like there are some like melodic ideas, but other parts are just kind of meandering. I just recorded it quickly today.
Oh, that's
Okay,
fine.
well, thank you
That's
for
fine.
doing
It's
that.
you know that's how you get like the hardest. I think the hardest part is doing the first one, and then after that it gets easier.
The first one.
Meaning like well like what you just said was I just did it today. I just did it quickly. You know, to me that's always the hardest one to do is the first time out.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
if that makes
April,
sense.
sorry, John, didn't mean to step on what you were saying there. April, I'll just throw out that last year I recorded a couple of things for this guitar club over backing tracks that John and Julie sent me. I very intentionally waited until the day of in order to put the ideas down because it forces you to commit to the idea. There's nothing wrong with putting it down at the last minute, but sometimes that's actually a creative force
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a very positive one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look and listen.
Example 5.
Thank you for doing this, by the way.
Awesome. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know what I love is that it's very Phrygian sounding, but also very melodic. I love
Thanks. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I
Yeah.
find that Phrygian has such a strong flavor that it's hard to not just do that kind of Spanishy Ingve thing all the
Yes.
time, you know?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's the flavor.
So, and one of the things that really struck me is like as I was listening to you play, like you seem like a very what I would use the word conscious player, meaning that like it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of noodling going on. It seems like the everything that you did really sounded intentional to me.
Informed.
You know, either that or I don't know you're playing well enough but I kind of but that was how it really struck. Like I was amazed at how many different ideas were coming out. So it kind of made me wonder. It's like, how do you practice? How did you prepare for that? Like, what did you do to be able to get that? By the way, we just subscribed to your channel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, and please
Thank
put
you.
that in. Please put that in the chat so that I can subscribe to. And April, I'll just say, adding on from John's question, your phrasing is awesome because they're phrases. Like I think there was some interview with Eddie Van Halen where he said that the solos he played were like a story within a story, like a story within a song, and you're like. I was blown away by that. I especially love that little tapping bit that you did. I'm going to go
That
right
was really neat.
because
Thanks. I can show you if you want.
that solo told the story.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Thanks.
just you. It wasn't you just throwing notes at us. Like that solo told the story.
Yeah.
You'll see the
Awesome.
link in the chat too if anybody wants to.
That's what I've been trying to like work on recently because I've been playing guitar for 20 years, so like I can sort of go up and down quite quickly, you know. But like
Right.
I've always been wanting to have more intention and be more melodic and like storytelling and kind of think more like a vocalist and take little breaks like to breathe.
Yeah.
Well,
things like that.
clearly do better because you're not getting it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I was going to say too is that this is also worth mentioning too. Your time feel is really good. You know, and if I were to make any suggestion at all, first do what you feel, do what you like, do what feels right to you. And anytime somebody makes a suggestion, always take it with a grain of salt. Unless you like sort of agree and it resonates. So I want to qualify that. So what I was thinking about as I was hearing you play it was what you could also explore is maybe doing fewer things and doing more with them. Like in other words, take a single idea and play around with the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna limit myself to this one lick, and let's see how many different ways I can play this one lick. And just to see if that's something that that brings it slightly into more focus. I mean, I have to say when I was watching the video after hearing you say, well, yeah, I was just noodling around for a few minutes. I'm like,
Wow.
jeez,
It just came out so
it was
nice.
really, really great.
Thanks.
So I thought, those might be some, some things to think about. For me, when I'm tracking the stuff that I've been doing, like I've been finding myself wrestling a lot with trying to get the right tone and get the right feel, and for me, as I'm listening to myself back after doing something, one of the things I'm realizing is that I need to pay a lot of attention to my time feel to get it to sound and feel a certain way. Because there are some phrases I'm playing like straight on the grid, if you know what I'm saying, and then other phrases I'm sort of floating over the grid with respect to time, and it doesn't work if if I'm not conscious of what it should sound like. It's very, very hard to do.
Yeah. That's finding the swing, right?
Yeah.
Finding like the vibe of the track as
Yes.
Yeah,
well.
the vibe. Hey, anyone else do recording? Liam,
I didn't do a recording.
you want to jam?
But actually, I had a question for April. So, what was that on that tapping part? What were you? Because I've been exploring a lot of stuff with tapping, but that was kind of interesting what you were doing. So I don't know if there was something intentional or if you were just
Maybe octave.
as far as what notes you were hitting, like in relation to your fret hand or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I'd like to know that too.
I think you're on.
Oh, yeah, I think you're muted.
Yeah, my bad. So I was thinking in like Mixolydian pentatonic,
Yeah,
and I think I was going like just tapping an octave higher. Like that. So I don't know how to. So up, yeah, tapping at the C up here, and then the same fret, and then you outline like a major chords.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
Because
April,
that's like one of my favorite scales. So
Yeah.
April, I have a similar warm up that I use. I stole from Collective Soul song, and it's a song called Y Part Two. And there's something in that song sounds like a synth sort of track. And after watching them play it, figured out that what the guitar player is actually doing is outlining the chords of the chorus by tapping the arpeggios. And you just said outlining the chords, and I love that concept because
yeah.
that's a way of using tapping that people don't think about. I know John has a piece called All Tapped Out, and everybody thinks about the Eddie Van Halen style of tapping, but I love that style where you're outlining like chord arpeggios with tapping.
yeah,
Yeah, it's basically just a C7 chord that I was outlining more or less.
yeah.
But then add chord movement into that, and it just gets even cooler, right?
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
so April, you very quickly mentioned Mixolydian pentatonic, and could you kind of just show me what that is or how you think of it?
So I think I meant like a dominant pentatonic. So you take a minor, you make the third a major.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, very quickly, is your
Original
is your
sound for
original sound set
musicians?
to on or off? Because I can hear you talk clearly, and then as soon as you start to play, it gets the playing gets garbled.
Zoom
And
always thinks that the guitar is background noise. So if you can enable your original sound for musicians under the audio settings.
yeah, we need to do it too.
And it'll tell you in the upper left-hand corner if it's on or off.
What's hard is if we all have it on at the same time, then it messes up. So it's best to leave it off until it's time for you to play, and then when you do play, put that on. Otherwise, we cut each other out. It's very weird.
Oh, here we go. Background noise removal. So I need to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll say original sound for musicians or something.
Well, it depends on which
But not
version
live.
of
Oh, yeah, you might
depends on which version of Zoom you have. Is it a notebook or a laptop computer?
I'm on a desktop.
Desktop. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I just
it-
heard it switch.
Yeah. Okay. Play a little bit. There you go. Yeah.
Is that good? Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah, so I literally just take a 2 note per string pentatonic and make the third a major.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like my favorite sound, and I use that scale all the time. You can obviously superimpose it over a Phrygian dominant because all the notes exist in the C7.
I hear Eric Johnson play that one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah, he does the really speedy stuff, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. There's one I like that I use a lot too. Is you start on the third of the chord, right? So if you're playing a C7 chord, you would play an E minor pentatonic but flat the 5. So you start the chord.
Oh yeah, that's like the same. Yeah. Oops. Wait. I just want to do the Mixolydian.
Yeah. Yeah, so the thing is, it's almost the same sound, right? But it's a little different in that, like the Mixolydian pentatonic that you're doing, it's like you're missing the second and fourth degrees of the
And the 6.
and the 6, yeah,
But sometimes I add them in if I want.
yep, exactly, yeah, cool.
Yay, thank you for sharing all that.
But okay, so by the way, everybody say hi to Zach. Zach is a new private guitar student of mine.
Welcome, Zach.
He's here because he's going to be auditioning
Hello.
for Berkeley soon.
Yay.
And one of the things that I was kind of hoping to discuss a little bit is just the process of learning tunes and preparing for auditions. You know, so I mean I know for myself that when I'm preparing for an audition, one of the things I tend to have the best luck if I look at the requirements of what they're looking for, really study them, and then just really kind of sink myself into that for a while. Like if it's a
This could be for school or auditioning for a band or
Yeah.
a gig or anything. When you're preparing for something,
yeah,
there's a different level that you have to mentally get to, I think.
I think so.
But definitely looking through. I feel like as I do that for my job at Shenandoah University. We do auditions, and I'm just so surprised how many people come in and they hadn't prepared.
Well,
What, as far as musical wise, like what chords should I know? What scale should I prepare? What should I have a performance piece, and it's all listed.
yeah. Well, not only is it all listed, but see, the other thing too is that the way that most guitar players learn how to play, I mean, it's different now than it was when I was coming up. When I was coming up,
Oh, right. We didn't have YouTube.
no, there was no YouTube. There was really no books. The way I learned how to play was I took some guitar lessons,
Put on a
and I knew
record.
some people. Yeah, I knew some people who played guitar who would show me a couple of tips and things. And I would play with people and just sort of pick things up a little bit at a time along the way. And a lot of it was, at the time, just very much almost like an oral history kind of an approach.
Yeah, this tradition.
Yeah,
Folklore.
and a lot of that stuff has been sort of documented on YouTube. So, YouTube University, kind of kicks in, and now suddenly there's all kinds of material out there.
Yeah.
Now if you started playing either violin or playing trumpet, like there's or some kind of, I guess, traditional musical instrument that you would find in an orchestra.
Where you have to read.
Yeah. The processes that they use to first of all educate the players, and then to get them to be able to play well enough to play in an orchestra, it's a pretty well established. It seems like there's a right way to do it. And it doesn't. And us as guitar players, we're still figuring out what that right way is.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I necessarily want to find the right way, because that means there's only one song. But
Every song can be learned in multitude of ways.
yeah. So the point being, there really isn't a lot in the guitar playing culture that's about, okay, you're about to do an audition for either a band or for trying to get into a school or something. How do you do an audition?
Right. Well, that's true too.
So
How many of us have gone through the Berkeley audition? I know. Raise your hand. No. Okay. But did you do a music
Well,
school
when
audition, Dustin? You studied engineering, right?
Yeah, so my degree is in guitar performance and audio engineering. It's from Hartwick College in upstate New York, but I don't remember there being an audition
Didn't do an
process.
audition. Okay.
I was actually so inept at music when I decided I wanted to follow that path that I think in my music theory 1 class I wrote the time signatures as fractions. And yep, and the professor came up to me and said, "Maybe this isn't for you." And I said, "No, I'll stick it out."
Just from that?
Really?
Oh, wow. I wouldn't
Well,
tell anybody that.
because
in a kind way, if that makes sense. He
Okay.
wasn't being overly critical. He's just like, "You have too much of a learning curve." I'm like, "No, I'll stick this one out."
yeah,
Good
but
for
glad you, because you think about it, a time signature is a fraction.
Yeah,
It is.
that's exactly what it
That's
is.
actually, I never thought of it that way, but you're not wrong, are you?
Right.
I never thought of it that way.
If you're just thinking about penmanship, that's easy to correct.
Yeah.
But the
Exactly.
concept of understanding it.
Exactly. But no, I don't remember any audition process going into that.
And then Liam, you did, or no?
So my Berkeley audition, well, I didn't have to do one for this master's program, but I auditioned like back in the 90s, and it was just I just sent a tape in.
A cassette?
Yeah,
Wow.
old
Okay.
school.
Nice.
But I did have
What
to
did you play?
audition. What's that?
What'd you play on your cassette?
I
Just
think
have
I
it?
did. I think I did like take 5
Oh, good one.
and maybe one other. I'm not sure. But I did have to audition at the Hartford Conservatory, which no longer exists. But that, yeah, that was tricky because, well, one, I suck at sight reading. So
How
I'm a
many
little
of
better now, I guess. But back then it was very, traumatic. So, but he made a point of going, yeah, you're pretty much a rock guitar player. So, me trying to play these jazz, because it's all jazz stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not a jazz player. And I was actually going there for recording. So
Okay.
it was just like,
But you
that
had to
was just
choose the principal instrument.
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the performance majors were like, what's your major? Because you're in all my classes. So
Right.
they only had a few different classes than I did. So, but yeah,
Liam,
it's
is sight reading ever not traumatic? Because
yeah. It's
I feel your pain on that.
I just, I've just
You know,
never really figured out the secret to like
either.
be able to sight read. I mean, I can look at something and kind of figure it out. Like when I play, like I played a lot of musical theater stuff in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't lie, there's been a couple gigs where I had to back out of them. I was like, there's no way I can't do it. It's just,
Huh.
so I had to try to find a replacement and not look like a total schmuck. But
You are not alone in that. I've been there, man. I feel
yeah,
your pain.
Yeah, some people
but
can just sight read and pick up a piece of music and just play it perfectly. But I would
yeah,
say the majority of guitar players, even jazz, even some classical, they can't just pick up a piece and read it.
yeah, if I can't get the score ahead of time, it's probably going to be a bust.
It's a lot of preparation. I've done musicals too, and I spend time before even the first sitz probe or whatever, just going through all the songs. John always says, just get your fingers on all the notes at least
Yeah,
once. And then once you
yeah,
go through it, you could practice with the recording, but then once you're sitting in the pit with that band, it's kind of
yeah,
different. Each group is a little bit different, so you kind of have to improvise once you get there too.
yeah. They were fun, and luckily the music director wasn't too strict about what I was doing because I wasn't always playing everything
Right.
perfectly.
But
Right.
sometimes they just want a vibe and they write
Yeah.
something on there.
So, and then that made it easier because I did like the same show at a different place, so I was familiar with it. So,
Yeah, that happens
so
too.
that helped. But yeah,
And that's really at the end of the day when people hire you and put music in front of you, really what they're doing is they're just trying to give you all the resources that you need.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is how traumatic sight reading can feel to a guitar player who's not used to doing it that way.
It's like
Now,
doing the eye test.
the
Read the skinniest line, but you don't get your glasses.
right.
and it's their way of having you turn down.
Well,
Right?
It's
so
read the skinniest line while the audience hears you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy.
So I've had the way I learned how to sight read under pressure was pretty much a trial by fire kind of a scenario.
Just over and over again.
Yeah,
just
like,
sit, butt in the chair. Here's the music. Go.
yeah. So one of the most horrifying ones. I was the guitar player with Boston Pops for about 25 years, and early in my career with them, they were doing they were doing a television show for PBS called Evening at Pops, and so like from May through mid-June, like once a week, a TV crew would come in and film us playing whatever program we were playing. So, and it was kind of stressful because, there'd be like 15 cameras, there'd be a camera truck, there'd be an audio truck,
Yeah.
and, we'd be playing all of it in front of a live audience. So, we did a rehearsal one morning. It starts at 10:30, goes till about 1 o'clock, and then we've got the afternoon free, and then we're going to play the concert that night at 8 o'clock. So we go through the rehearsal. It's like, okay, all right, I know what I got to do. And then on the way home, I'm driving home, and the personnel manager calls me and says, "Hey, John, listen, we just added this piece to the program that we're going to play tonight when we tape for TV, and we're going to add it to the program because we had to have an opportunity to have this guy who's like a major star on Broadway come in and sing this song from the show Les Miserables." And he's been the Broadway guy for so many years, and he's in Boston for one night, so we've got him.
Gotta do it tonight.
And we want to take advantage of him. We want to put him on the TV with us, but the piece he wants to play kind of has a lot of guitar on it, and we're not going to have the chance to rehearse it with the orchestra before we play the show. So
The live recording.
so maybe you want to come back and have a look at it, and I got to tell you, that was like,
Crunch time.
like I mean, it's for me, it's the same kind of dream. Like you know how like you have a dream like you're skating along, and then all of a sudden you're like under the water, and you can't you can't find the ice, and you're sort of banging away.
Where's the hole?
Right. Or you fall out of an airplane and there's no parachute. That was kind of how it felt. And
I was just gonna say, it's that falling dream where you wake, like you start awake.
right. So now, so what I did was I drove back, and they gave me the music, and it was like exactly the kind of stuff I stink at. So the whole piece was like all eighth notes and all arpeggios, and
Swing?
no,
Oh, no, Les
it was
Miserables.
actually rubato.
Oh.
And when I got there, I started realizing, that this is actually going to be a little easier than I thought it was, because when I was listening to the recording, what the guitar does is the guitar just kind of follows wherever the vocals go. And this I'm listening to the recording. This is the guy who's going to be singing it tonight. So all I got to do is just get really familiar with what he's doing, and then just try to follow wherever he goes. And I went to to Keith Lockhart, the conductor, and I just basically said, "Listen, we're not going to have any opportunity to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go wherever the singer goes. And I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think I'm going to watch you, because I don't think I'm going to be able to make that work.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna." And his reaction I thought he was going to get mad. It's like, "What? I'm the conductor. You must follow me." And he just kind of went, "Yeah, man, whatever works."
Oh, good.
So if I remember right, it's kind of that thing, and then
Fine cliche.
you know what I mean. Bring him home. Da da da. You know what I mean? So like, as I got familiar with the vocal phrases, it was like, oh, I know what to do with this.
So you're kind of reading, kind of listening, kind of interpreting.
And then at the end of the day, like when I played the piece, like it's probably on YouTube somewhere, but like if you sat with the music and then read what I played, it wasn't exactly the same, but nobody said anything to me about it. Nobody said anything other than, "Hey man, great job." And
There's a comment from Victor Hugo. No, I'm just kidding. What is this?
John, if you don't mind me interjecting once again, you hit on something really, really, really important in that, and said something that really resonated with me. Um, the general theme that I'm taking away from that is under pressure, you did whatever it took to get the job done. Because
Well,
the end goal is to support the singer, and the end goal is to make stuff happen, right?
yes.
And we guitar players are really good at like needing the newest pedal and thinking way too much about our tone and losing sight of the end goal, which is get the job done. My my family owns a hardware store, lumber store, a lumber yard for contractors, and I'm, the manager of our staff. Been doing that for a long, long time. And when I came back a year ago and took over the management position again, I looked at my staff and I said, I don't care what you have to do. I have one goal: happy customers. Happy
Yeah.
customer, do whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
In To analogize that to what you're saying, so you're under tremendous pressure. We all get that in our jobs, and from time to time, but you kept your eye on the ball, which is get the gig done, whatever it takes. If it takes changing up the arrangement or just doing it in the best way you can, get the job done.
Well, right.
That's probably a really cool thing for us musicians to always kind of keep in mind, because as we're learning pieces, as we're getting into the weeds of things, sometimes you can lose sight of that.
Well, yes, and from the reading point of view, I did a lot of gigs where they would hand me the music at the last possible second, and and what I discovered was that some arrangers really know how to write for guitar, and other arrangers kind of have a sense of what they want, but they don't know how to express it. So that's one of the
'Cause
problems
they're not
with
guitar players.
well, that's part of the challenge of writing for guitar player or guitar players learning how to read is that different arrangers and different copiers have different notation styles. Like there isn't a single way to write for
Like Leonard
notate
Bernstein.
for guitar.
He
Yeah,
writes these chords that are some crazy fingerings because he doesn't know. I don't know. Some
yeah.
of the songs from West Side Story.
So
I'm
I
like,
did.
how am I going to play this?
Yeah, I did West Side Story a couple of years ago, with Boston Symphony Orchestra, and it was the original film score. And I was reading through the guitar, like some of the guitar voicings in the guitar part, like it really looked to me like the person that wrote the guitar part was deliberately making this part as hard as possible for the guitar.
So crazy.
And Leonard Bernstein probably had no idea that that's what he was doing. And the poor guitar player, because when I was reading it, I almost did that thing that Liam did. I almost called them and said, "Man, this is
There's
too hard. I
no
can't do
way.
it."
It was
But I was 2 weeks out, and this was a show at over Tanglewood, which is they were expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 people to be in attendance that night.
Oh, wow.
And it would have been really bad if I backed out. So,
For those of you who haven't been to Tanglewood, people literally bring in couches to the
Yeah.
lawn and set up their own little.
candelabras.
yes,
I've literally seen people like set up a chandelier over their little area.
yeah, yep,
Mental.
Wow.
It's awesome, but mental.
yeah. It
right.
is completely mental. Anyway,
So
go
we were
ahead.
going to talk about auditions. So we kind of went off on a tangent. But
Yeah.
if you're auditioning for music school, definitely prepare, find out what they're looking for. And don't be resistant to reading music. You have to show that you can read a little bit. And if you don't know how to read a little bit, at least try. Don't, you can't just go pass because you're auditioning for music school, right? What is your, I mean,
Well, yeah. Again, one of the things that I often say to my students is that if you're taking a music theory class and the teacher is a clarinetist, and the students in the room, some of them are guitar players, some of them are bass players, some of them are trumpet players, violinists, whatever. The only way the teacher is going to be able to make sense out of it is he or she's going to be in the front of the class writing everything out in standard notation. Now, if the standard notation is utterly meaningless to you because you can't read it, then you miss a lot.
Right.
You know, so I think as a student in a music school, I think the ability to look at the black dots and translate it into something that makes sense on your fretboard is a worthwhile skill.
And you're
You
not
know-
going to be asked to play some crazy Paganini caprice or something.
Yeah.
You know, you're probably going to be asked to play some quarter notes and some eighths and maybe a 16th or the chord chart,
Yeah,
you know, maybe.
John, I used your, you had a, because I had a student that told me like last minute that he was going to audition for Berkeley. So I was like,
Okay.
dude, what are you doing? Like, we got to do some other things here.
Oh, by the
So
way.
you had a video out there that kind of talked about the Berkeley
Yeah,
audition. So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, so I kind of took him through the Levitt book and just to get his reading, because he knew how to read, he just didn't practice it, and
right.
he kind of knew what he was doing, but not totally. So
If
but
you could read just a
video was
tiny,
helpful.
tiny little bit, it really will put you in
Yeah,
a
exactly.
higher level
Yeah.
of acceptance, right? And then if you can play some scales, playing some scales, chords, maybe know all your major seven, minor seven, dominant in two different places,
Yeah,
you know. What else is really important? Maybe an arpeggio.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you know, so seventh chord voicings, like you know, just get one. You know, great place to start. Be able to play one with the sixth string root. So for G major seven,
Major seven,
and
that's
then another one
important.
maybe up here. And of course, there's a lot more, right? So major seven, dominant seven, minor seven,
Minor seven, flat five. Major seven, sharp five.
major seven, sharp five. Oh,
Major minor seven.
minor major seven.
Minor major seven, sorry. That's important.
Yeah,
You know, just a few things. Just to show that you have a knowledge of an understanding of music and the fretboard. If you can just rock your piece, that's not enough. It will get you far, you know. So how do you get in the mental capacity to prepare for an audition?
well, okay, so, you know, well, if it's a school audition, I think, you know, most schools will have a published, you know, thing of these are the kind of things that we're looking for. So, what I would do is look at that page and start by taking it literally. Like if it says know all of your major scales,
Learn
then
them all by
learn
one
them all.
octave or two.
You know, and then just kind of, you know, just go through each category and learn as much as you can until you get there, and then show what you know. You know, when I do an audition, I've said this to my students, you know, in the past, but what I tend to do when I'm giving the audition is I'm looking for what I would call the uncle response. In other words, I'm going to ask questions in a way that eventually you're going to get to the answer that I'm going to expect from you. Eventually, is I don't know. You know, and that's when
When
you
you
kind of
feel
go, okay,
like,
uncle.
oh no, I didn't know minor major seven.
Right.
You know?
Well, or you know, or another way to, it's like, okay, so play a dominant, play G7, play another G7. Okay, play another G7. Okay, another one, another one, another one, another one.
One more, John.
There you go. Then, okay, and then what else have I got?
That's
I've
all right.
got.
I accept you. Really, for me, what I'm looking for, I don't want you to flunk out of music school because it's too hard. And if you're not prepared at all, it shows me that you might not be ready,
Right.
you know? And another thing that I've seen a lot is sometimes people will choose pieces that they think we want to hear.
Yeah.
Like my program is called CMed, so it's contemporary music, it's entrepreneurial. Play a song you've written, play a song you really like. Don't try to play Moonlight Sonata, because I can tell it's not your style, you know? I can tell you're not solid in it. Or don't play All the Things You Are.
Yeah.
Unless
or-
you're really good at it, but it's like there's not a particular thing we want to hear. We want to see what you love.
Yeah, don't
We
play the
wanna
rhythm
see
guitar
what you're
part for
good at.
Wonderwall.
Oh
And,
my
and
God.
and Ed Sheeran, as much as we love him, you know, there's not a lot going on guitar playing wise. So like if
Yeah.
you're doing a guitar audition,
Pick
play
something
something
that's a
that
little bit,
yeah, that showcases what you do well.
yeah. So, any questions about that? I think getting prepared for a performance is a little different than just practicing. And I read this really, you know how last time I brought this cool article from the classical woodshed guy? There's another guy I follow, he's called the Bulletproof Musician. But he was saying that, you know how when you go to practice a piece, there's probably one section where when you get to it, the very first time you pick up your guitar of the day, you're going to stumble. And then you go through it again, you're going to stumble it again. And then you're going to stumble it again. If that's the first response, every time you pick up your guitar to play that piece, you need to get it down even better. Like you need to be able to play it the first time you pick up your guitar all the way through perfectly, you know? And if it's not quite there yet, just focus on the part right before that and that, you know? And make sure mentally you're not panicking as that part's coming up, you know? Because sometimes we get in our own way. But it was such an interesting theory about preparing, because we think, okay, after I go through it 3 or 4 times, then I got it, so I've got it. But we don't really have it. There's always the opportunity that the time that you really need to showcase and play something through all the way, you don't get those 3 times if you're going to an audition or if you're
That's true.
performing at Madison Square Gardens. Like you really have to have it all the way through. So it's a different level of preparation. Maybe pick your guitar up 3 times in one day and just play the part right before that hard part and that part, and make sure once you get it, okay, it's just second nature, then it's ready,
Yes.
you know? We're preparing for a big show, and I'm so excited. I get to play this wonderful festival called the Ladybug Festival. And I applied to to play at this a few months back. It's all women, so it's very empowering to be chosen. But
Except me, I'll be there too.
well, okay, it's men and women, but mainly
Well, it's
women-led
features,
bands.
it's women features, yeah.
Yeah. But I just felt like I'm at this phase in my life where I've spent the last decade focusing on my education and teaching and all this stuff. And then over the last 3 years, we've been writing and recording, and now we're in the process of releasing this new music. And now it's like finally coming into fruition where I'm playing my own music. We've got a bunch of new John Finn group tunes. We're just so thrilled to be able to say we're playing these things live. So if you are around the Cohasset area on July 18, we highly, highly recommend you come to the show. For one thing, because we're really excited. We're personally inviting each of you. April, are you in England? Okay, I was thinking.
Okay, never mind.
You have the accent, but
Unless you
you never
want,
know.
yeah.
But if you can cross the pond, we'd love to have you out here. But
If you pay for my ticket to fly,
I
I'll come.
would in a second if I was loaded and had the money. But anyway, we just wanted to say that. So the Ladybug Festival, if you happen to be in Maryland,
Oh, I was gonna say, where's that?
Hot City, I know it's way down there. We're hitting the road for this show. And the funny thing is, it's like 8 hours of travel for a 30-minute set. But dang it, I'm doing it, right?
That's right, we're doing
This is
it.
such an honor. And I'm not doing it for free, so that's a cool thing too.
It'll be
But
worth it.
July 18, it's a Thursday, which is kind of weird, but it's such a fun little venue. It's very intimate. We're pretty sure it's going to sell out. But if you're interested, pop us an email. We'll send out the link.
And that's the July 18th is the gig in Cohasset.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Ladybug Festival will just be my music, but the Cohasset gig is a full night of my music and John's music. We're joined
Excellent.
with Larry Finn, Joe Santerre, Rich Cesarini,
Yeah,
the
it's good.
band.
That one's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Are you going to be debuting some new tunes, possibly?
All
Yeah,
new
all new
tunes.
stuff.
A whole night of new tunes. Well, maybe some old favorites.
Yeah, probably a couple old
Yeah,
favorites,
because there's
but mostly
Two
the new
Monkeys
material.
Jump Back is a classic.
Yeah.
That will be in there.
Always a bridesmaid.
We haven't played that one in a little while,
You want to bring it
so
back?
maybe we'll bring it back.
That's
That's
a
cool.
If you'll be there and that's your favorite, we'll play it.
All right,
that's always a challenging one. If I'm there, I'll hold you to it.
all right.
Okay, we'll make sure we spruce that one up.
Are you going to film it?
hadn't
Hadn't
thought
really.
of
It's good thought. Maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe we should. It's very small. I think the capacity is 92. So,
You know what keeps happening to me is that I always think, yeah, I should film it, and then I get there and it's like, oh crap, I forgot my camera, or
there's
I
just
bring
so
the
much
camera,
to prepare in
yeah,
advance.
and I just forget to set it up or something, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe we could designate a person
yeah,
to be the filming.
that might be good. That's actually not a bad idea.
Actually, if I do make it to that gig, and I'm kind of thinking my girlfriend and I have been looking for a road trip to do.
If you
I
want to stay
have-
the night, it's this beautiful hotel.
So yeah, the place we're playing at is actually a hotel.
It's called the Red
Is
Lion.
it the because I know you guys played at a hotel and is it the Red Lion or
Yes.
And it's
Yeah,
probably
'cause I've
from
seen-
the 1500s, this old hotel. It is.
I've seen the
There's
pictures
all
of it.
these
It looks
old
fantastic. Yeah.
fireplaces and
Yeah,
even the furniture in there looks old.
yeah, and it's in a beautiful area, and it's like right on the water too.
There's only 7 rooms.
You
Was
know,
that right?
Yes, it's
my
gorgeous.
girlfriend and I have been looking. Oh, sorry, I don't
No,
mean
no,
to talk over you.
it's fine.
My girlfriend and I have been looking for a chance to get away, and so if we can get away for that, I actually have some, not like professional, but I'll film it for you, and not with an iPhone. I
right.
might be able to
All right.
actually do that for you guys. Yeah,
We'd love that.
All right, yeah, if you do, yeah, that
Awesome.
would be amazing.
We'd love to be able to share these.
let
too.
me see what I can do.
All right,
And
Oh,
that's the 18th,
yeah.
July.
July 18th. Yep.
Yeah, and there's plenty of other places if the red line is filled too.
Yeah, yeah.
You
We
know.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Maybe all the people will be coming to see us and it'll be filled up then.
yeah. So okay, so there's a couple of little house cleaning pieces that we got to
Okay,
do.
yep, sorry, we've been talking a lot today.
Yeah. So the first thing and I always feel just a little bit awkward doing this, but we just wanted to put out. We're gonna we're gonna continue to try to attract more and more people to come. We're also
To
sort of
Guitar Club, we mean.
yeah, and the other thing was like with all this stuff that with the releases, we're kind of thinking about how do we get all that financed. So we're like the awkward part is we in this world we have to look for ways to monetize what we do. So to that end, we're gonna ask for donations for every episode of Guitar Club if you feel comfortable. Again, it's a
We don't
donation,
want it
so it's
to be
not.
cost prohibitive
Yeah,
if you
it's
can't make it.
yeah. If you can't afford it, come anyway. Honestly, there's no judgment. Do we have the? Can we type in
Yeah,
the?
yeah.
You have to do a commercial, John. Like for
Yeah.
$1 a day, you could.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get us a pack of ramen. Okay.
Set up a subscription model. For $1 a day, you get the John Finn quarter of the day.
What's your Venmo?
My Venmo is at John-Finn-3.
There's 2 other John Finns, huh?
Yeah, at least. That's Venmo, and then
PayPal.
PayPal is either yours or mine.
John Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It all kind of goes to the same place anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that.
You have a warm up?
Well, yeah, let me,
Warm up number 28. We're out of time now, but we want to send some fun things. Do you want to talk about
Kind of crazy. This is free anyway. So
oh, good.
just
hanging
Yeah,
out
I think,
with Finn?
I think, well, I can only speak for myself, but more than happy to donate because you guys really do give us a lot in this,
Well, we
and
will
have been doing
commit to doing it
for a
every
while.
month.
Well, thank you.
and having fun things to share.
Thank you. For real.
This is called Warm Up 28.
Did you say Zach was auditioning for Berkeley? Is that what you're doing?
Zach is auditioning for Berkeley,
Yeah, tell us your story, Zach. What's up?
Oh, geez. Yeah. So I was talking to John when I had my first lesson with him about what was going on. But I've been teaching privately at a music school locally, and then I did that while I was attending a community college here. And then I decided while I was teaching private music lessons that I wanted to get back into music. So now I've decided that I want to go to school for that, and so Berkeley became one of those first options for me.
And guitar will be your principal? Will you do guitar performance or songwriting?
I was looking into music composition because I really liked composing and stuff like that, and kind of the way that works. I kind of want to learn more about that.
Wonderful. Like for
So Zach, if you put any compositions up online, sorry, Julie.
Oh no, you're good.
Zach, if you put
no,
any
I haven't.
compositions up online,
I haven't done any compositions
definitely-
online or anything like that yet.
Well, if you do,
Yeah.
definitely throw out the YouTube channel or whatever you do on Guitar Club, because I'd love to hear what you write.
Yeah, thank you
Maybe
so much. I
everybody
appreciate
should put their YouTubes in the chat, and we can all share. I know everybody here has put
Didn't
out
even know
stuff.
it.
I think I need to get one of those YouTube channels.
Oh, you haven't done it? Oh, I've
I'm
seen
in the smoke signals world at this point, so.
Okay. Smoke signal.
Okay. So one last
Let's
one.
pick a day for July.
Okay. July 18th? No, I'm totally kidding.
No. I would say 15 or 22. What's that? A backing track?
Yeah.
What's that?
This is the solo section from
Slade and Pitbull. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We have this song. It was called Plain and Simple.
and then Joe renamed
And
it Slain
then
and Pepper.
Joe started calling it Slain and Pimple. So we've changed the name. But this solo section is really fun. It goes from G minor 7 to E minor 9. So it's basically G Dorian. And then E Dorian. Then C minor 6. Guess what scale you play for that?
C melodic
C
minor?
melodic minor. Oh. And then E major 9. E major. You could just play E major. Or do you play E Dorian or E Lydian?
I usually just play major. So I have the track up on the.
Okay. Yep. So I'm sending this over now. I'll put that in the chat. So you guys can play along with this fun thing.
Yeah. So this, yeah. So basically, yeah. So G
You want to
minor.
play on it?
So E minor 9. G minor. E minor.
Melodic minor.
So
That's one of the new ones.
yeah, so it's kind of fun to play on, but it's really hard too.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You really have to know where you are. And it's sometimes not just one note changing, you know?
So okay, what I would suggest again, April, thank you for
taking the time
for taking
to
the time
learn.
and putting that together. You know, I'm not going to require it, but if I put that chord progression out in case anybody wants to sort of take it on and see what happens.
We miss Dana. Sorry, Dana.
Yeah.
See you later.
So warm up 28. I'm just going to walk through it really quickly, and then we're going to run. But warm up 28. Basically, what it is it's an open voice C chord. Okay, and what this does is this walks through 9 different ways to play the same chord. So you have C, then the note on the 2nd string moves to here, then the note on the 4th string moves to here, then the note on the 1st string moves to here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then finally here, then working the other way, then
That's amazing. Look at that.
Then finally doing that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
That's a stretch.
8, 9.
That one too.
Yeah.
That one too. Boy. But I guess since it's at the 12th fret, it's a little easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole mission of this exercise is to just get you more and more familiar with different ways that you can organize essentially the same voicing. You know, not that you should try to memorize that for everything, but once in a while it's good to kind of go down that rabbit hole for a second.
I think when we first are learning, well, this was my case, they said, this is the D chord. And then I'm like, I trust you. This is D. Cool. And then you learn another D and you're like, whoa, there's some other Ds, you know? And then sometimes we get stuck in our own fingerings.
Yeah.
And then when you look at like a book from William Levitt and you see, what, 8 different fingerings for one scale? Wow,
Exactly.
that's just so crazy. And then you can think, which one works for me? Or which one works from this chord going to this chord? And then if I'm doing this chord to a different chord, maybe I'll choose a different fingering because it's a little more natural. But so important to realize that. I feel like it just opens up, but maybe a little too much information if you're brand new.
Yeah.
You know, I think I needed that structure. Like, here's the D.
Oh yeah. Oh
And then
definitely.
you need to play that D for a while, and then you move on. But
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
always say? All roads lead to Rome.
All roads lead to Rome.
But here, this is every single possible way on the entire fretboard
To play that
those
group of
3
3
notes.
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Cool.
Very Holdsworth kind of.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. All right. So do we have the date?
Yeah, so we were thinking the 15th, but you
Okay.
think that week would be too busy with our gig?
No, I think it's fine.
Oh, you have jazz in the park the day before?
Yeah, that's fine.
Dr. Kim?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Cool.
We
All
will
right.
see you on July 15th.
Yes. Tell all
Putting
your
it in my
friends too.
calendar now.
All right.
Invite your friends. If you guys have anything that you're wanting to learn or talk about, does anybody have a topic? No?
Okay.
We'll
So
just kind of wing it.
yeah, what I would say is, for next time, if you think about, think about like either the chord progression that I put out there for Slain and Pimple, or come up with your own. Write your own chord progression and then improvise over it. Bring
Your
that.
favorite chords.
You know,
We want to hear what you're into.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like the more people contributing, the better this is.
Yeah, we want a community.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
guys.
everybody.
So fun to see you again, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you guys for doing this, as always. Looking forward to it.
We love
this
it.
is fun, man. Really.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice meeting everyone.
Look forward,
Nice to
All right.
meet you.
look forward to it every month.
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
Right
Yeah, man.
on. See ya.
All right.